This episode is sponsored by the Losing It merch store.
And this week, we're featuring the Losing It mug. Look at that. That's nice, isn't it? Look at that. Yeah. They call that Little Nelsie. That's Little Nelsie. And you know what? My tea tastes better than ever in this Losing It mug. So we have mugs, we got hats, we got masks, we got totes, we've got t-shirts, we've got it all. Just go to nelsiespencer.com and then click on the upper right on the merch, where it says merch. That'll take you to our merch store, and it's all there waiting for you. All right? Bye. Losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it. If you got a story, we don't care if it's happy or gory, so come share your losing it story with us. Hi, everybody. Nelsie Spencer just did a weird eyebrow thing. Hi, everybody. Nelsie Spencer here. Welcome to Losing It with me and Ronnie Whaley. This is the podcast where people come in and tell a losing it story. That's it. No more complicated than that. Ronnie, how the hell are you?
I'm very good. Very good.
All right.
All right.
It's just, I think that's a kind of a new opening. I didn't go, hey, Ronnie, hi.
Yeah, it threw me off.
I threw you off.
Yeah,
I threw you off. Yeah, I didn't give you a chance to use your new opening.
Yeah, you asked me a question instead, and I was like, oh, okay, I gotta figure something out on my feet here.
Yeah, because you were going to say bonjour, madame, because you'd been working on your opening.
I've been staring at the mirror, just going through openings and intros,
openings and closings. Oh my God!
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm all right. I have a bit of a headache. I'm doing all right. Other than that, yeah, I had a long night. Long night. Yeah.
Does that mean is that a euphemism for like stayed up and drank or stayed up and edited? I mean, I feel like which of or both?
I stayed up and drank this time with some of my friends virtually, and I haven't done that in like 2 months, and so all of us we all been really busy, so we all just decided, I stay up till 6 a.m. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Man. And I feel like sometimes you're either up at 6 a.m. or up till 6 a.m. because you want my alarms going off, excuse me, because you text me at 6 a.m. all the time.
Yeah, well, recently I've been waking up at like 5:30. Yeah.
Wow.
And now I've ruined that. I ruined that now.
You just ruined it. You just ruined it. Yeah. But it's a good feature to be an early riser.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose it can be like my husband, he isn't capable of sleeping in. He wakes up at 4:30 no matter what.
Oh, I could do that, no problem though.
That's you too?
Yeah, I'm either.
Wow.
Depends.
Wow.
Depends.
So did you have fun?
Yeah,
was it fun?
It was great. I haven't seen them in a long time. It's weird. It's weird though, because like it's like that thing. I'm sure a lot of people feel this, but it's like we're all still kids pretending to be adults. And we're kind of just like talking amongst ourselves like, oh my God, what the hell? Like I'm.
Yeah, because you guys have all been adults for about 10 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it's weird. So we're all just trying to figure stuff out. But my friends are doing good. My one friend's getting married.
That's right. Yeah. And you're going to be the best man, right?
I'm the best man. So I was just talking to him, the same guy. Yeah.
And when's it happening?
Is it
going to be post-COVID?
October this year, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
In the Philippines?
In the Philippines, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's going to be on a farm.
Makes me think of Mr. Chandler with his rooster. So that's fantastic. Have you been at best? You were a best man already, am I right? Or will this be your first time?
I was a groomsman last time when I was in Australia for that wedding. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Oh, by the way, my brother called me. I have a little brother. He called me the other day, and he was like, "Can you mention me on the podcast?" He said he's been watching.
Yeah, no, let's not. No, we don't have room for him.
So I'm here to talk about my sister. Our sister is doing great.
Yeah, let's hear a little more about your sister.
You know, my sister.
Tell me about your little brother. Tell me about him. How old is he?
He's. That's a good question. It's
good to know how old your siblings are, honey.
I think he's really 17 now. No, we're 8 years apart, so
do the math.
He's
honey.
17.
Do the math. He's 17. Yeah. You did that right.
Yeah.
You did that right. What's his name?
His name is Fletch.
Fletch.
Yeah.
That's
a very
full name.
Old school name. Yeah. Well, Fletcher.
Yeah.
Fletcher.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, not anyone else named Fletcher, you know?
That's a very cool name. Now there were movies back in the day with Chevy Chase.
Yes, so that I know that. That's the only thing I know that from, you know? Fletch and the book.
Was it a book first before it was a movie? I mean, is the movie based on the book?
Yeah. Read the book.
Is that why your parents named him that?
I don't think so.
See, now we have to mention your dad again. And we know how much he likes that. You know what? It's time we mentioned your mom a little bit. Come on.
I mean, we get everybody involved now.
And we got the system. Okay, so Fletch is 17.
Yeah.
He's still in the Philippines, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he's... Which means, if he's 17, which I think means he's about to finish high school. I think, yeah.
Yeah, because you guys finish sooner than we do, don't you?
Not at his school. Not at his school.
Not at his school?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
His school is on the regular.
I hope he's not doing the wang.
No, he doesn't do any of that. He's the smarter kid.
And he will remain smart because his hippocampus will continue to grow because he's not doing underage drinking.
Yeah.
Fletch, good for you.
But he's a skateboarder. He picked up skateboarding. Yeah.
How
it's a great
cool
exercise.
Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
does he wear? Silly question, but does he wear pads or anything?
No, and I don't think he really needs to. He's really just stationary in one place. If he was on those big ramps and stuff, then you would have
right.
to.
But he's just going from here to there, kind of a thing.
But he's really into tricks. Like he does a lot of like.
Well, that's when you need the pads. No.
Yeah. I mean, it's debatable.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just being a mother here. Just being a mother.
I mean, my dad's always like, once you get on the ramps, then wear the helmet and the pads. But then otherwise, you're just a kid, you know?
Yeah. So. With a fractured elbow.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
You got to break a couple bones, in your life,
Have you broken bones?
Have you broken an arm once. Yeah, I broke an arm once. Yeah, at a birthday party when I was in the 5th grade. Something like that.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
I thought it might have been a wang related party. Yeah.
No.
5th grade.
5th grade.
Falling off a something or other?
Yeah, it was at a pool. It was at a resort, the party. And then at the pool, there's a pool, right? And on the edge of the pool, they have where the water flows into, grates, right? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Right. Yeah.
So one side of the pool is a cutoff point, and then there's the beach. And then I ran across that, and it was nighttime, and I didn't see that the grates had been removed. And the drop,
man!
Yeah, the drop was and it was pretty big. It was probably 5 feet wide, and then it was probably about 10 feet deep. And
guess what? You got a lawsuit on your hands there.
Yeah,
right?
but my dad was like, "Well, it was your fucking fault, so." So I don't want to involve them.
Your dad is so cozy. It's your own fucking fault.
I remember one of the parents asked my dad if they were going to do anything, and my dad that's exactly what my dad said. He was like, "Well, he shouldn't have been doing that."
Oh man, oh man, that is funny. Let me tell you, when Malcolm was a baby, I took him to. We used to go to this really nice health club in the city. At the time, it was called Reebok Sports Club, and now I think it's an Equinox, but it's right on 67th and Columbus. At the time, it was the nicest club there. It was 3 or 4 stories, and they had a kids club, so you drop your kid off, and they watch your kid while you're in step class or doing aerobics or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So drop off Rena and Malcolm, and in the middle of class, someone comes in, and I see this worried, and I recognize her from the kids club, and she comes, goes to the instructor, and the instructor calls my name, and I go downstairs. Malcolm has a cut over, and he's 1. He's just been walking, not walking great. Has a cut over his eye, blood all over him. Yeah. He starts to sob, and I just put him on my breast because that works every time. Oh. And so he's bleeding, but at least he's not sobbing anymore. Take him to the hospital. I called my pediatrician. He says, take him to a plastic surgeon.
Really?
Because you don't want to go to the emergency when it's on your face and have them sew you up. That's what my pediatrician said.
Really?
Yeah. So I take him to a plastic surgeon. They strap, because he's hysterical. They strap him in like on a board.
He's like one?
Strap him. Yeah, he's one.
God.
I mean, yeah, if he did any sort of, regression in therapy, I'm sure he'd have trauma about that. They stitched him up. You can barely see the scar. And Reebok paid for everything.
Really?
Yeah, because he fell. It wasn't really, fault is too strong of a word, but there was a little ledge that just should have had foam over it. It was too sharp of an edge. He was walking. He's a toddler. Boom, down he goes. Boom. And yeah.
And he was walking like this is when he started walking.
Yeah. I mean, he was a walker. He could walk, but he wasn't really good at it. So when they're a certain age where they're still learning, them falling over their own feet is not that unusual. Yeah, down he went. Zoop. And, so your dad, you guys gonna, I mean, people were like, are you going to sue? I'm like, no, I'm not going to sue. Jesus. They're like, they've got deep pockets. I'm like, yeah, it would be nice if they would pay for the medical expenses, and that's it. Like,
yeah, it's weird to just be like, yes.
What can you get? Oh, your kid got hurt. I know, bummer, but maybe you can make some money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just not how my brain works.
Yeah. I did that too when I was like one. I fell and cut myself in the face. It's pretty. Yeah, it was actually the first time I started walking. I was on the bed with my dad, and my dad was watching NYPD Blue, and he was like really into that show. And
of course he was.
Yeah, and so
great show.
He was watching me, and no, he was not watching me.
Yeah. He was watching NYPD Blue, not watching you, and
then I started walking for the first time and walked right off the bed.
Oh shit! Yeah. So your first steps created an injury. Did you get hurt?
I did. I got like a cut on my face. Yeah. I don't know how bad it was.
Yeah, we could have sued your dad for that one. Now they've got deep pockets, right?
Yeah. Too good of a show.
Oh,
distracting fathers.
When I was little, I had quite a few injuries, and one of them, this is a good one because it's kind of dramatic. These neighbors we had, the Clees, Klees, and they had a girl my age and a boy my big brother Dickie's age, and so it was after school. I don't think it was even after school. Maybe I was 5. Maybe I was in kindergarten. And they had just gotten a swing set, right? So we go and we're swinging on the swing set, but they hadn't anchored the swing set. You know how the swing sets, they're usually anchored like you put concrete down and then you let the concrete dry on the swing set,
okay,
right?
Yeah.
So I'm swinging on the swing set, and the swing set's going like this and like this.
It's moving.
The swing set is tipping.
Oh my gosh.
And I go back and the swing set goes over.
You didn't think they'd come off?
It landed on my face.
Oh my God.
It landed on my face.
That's like a concussion.
Maybe. I mean, I should have grown up to be a serial killer. I don't know. I mean, I don't even remember being taken to the doctor. I think I got a black eye. I mean, it was
oh my God.
Kind of right. Yeah. I mean, I remember vividly being boom, boom. And there must have been something that, it couldn't have fallen direct. I don't know. All I know, mic problem. All I know is it was very dramatic. And after that, they put the swing set in concrete. That didn't happen again.
Wow.
Isn't it amazing sometimes that any of us make it to adulthood?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. So what else?
I don't know. I
thought you had something you wanted to talk about.
I did, but I was going to say that for the outro.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
we'll
just because
it's
a little longer.
Ronnie, cut that out. Cut that question out. The last thing I will say is that I finally finished reading that memoir that I keep talking about. Yeah, I don't know if I've been talking about it here. I've been talking about it everywhere else. Hollywood Park. It's written by this guy, Mikel Jolet, who's the lead singer and like. Oh, that's right. Airborne Toxic Event, right? I'm talking about it constantly.
You were talking about it with one of the guests we had recently.
Yeah. Well, I just finished it. I finished it yesterday. It's gorgeous. Highly recommend it. I really recommend listening to it because he reads it, and it's also got all this beautiful music on it. And I found out today you can get the album, the Airborne Toxic Event album that has all the music from the book in it. And one of the things he keeps saying is use your pain to create art. And I really like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, because he had a pretty painful childhood, and I feel like that's, I mean, hopefully I've done that. Hopefully I'll continue to do that. But it just made me happy, and he's a brave, smart, fantastic writer, and I recommend it. If you want to weep while you walk your dog, then I say definitely listen. Or even while you're cleaning your kitchen. If you just feel like you need a good cry, listen to this. And if you want to hear gorgeous writing and a mind-blowing story of, neglect and certain amounts of trauma and that kind of stuff, which I always find so much fun. But yeah, I recommend it. So that's it. That's all I got. It's me and my dog and walking the dog. Got a haircut. Ronnie didn't even notice.
I mean, I did after you pointed it out. I did.
Once I pointed it out.
Second time around.
Second
time around. I was like,
I'm kidding, guy. Yeah. It's all right. Doesn't
You're
matter.
like half an inch or less. Actually, no. It's probably like a couple centimeters. Did they use scissors?
Yeah. Oh, very funny. Very funny. Yeah, she did this. She just went boop. And said $55, please. Actually, that's a bargain, right?
$55?
That's a bargain for a haircut.
Really?
I mean, 10 years ago, I was paying $85 in Manhattan, and that was a deal.
$85? Oh my god!
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah.
The most money I've ever spent was like $55 or $65, and that was like, oh my god, it's insane.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless you've hidden gold coins in my hair, I want my money back.
In the Philippines, I have a guy, and like the deal is like 500 pesos, 200 peso tip. That's $12, and he's the best. The best.
And he's the best. He's the best.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I was cutting my own hair for a while, and I did Ned. All right, so guys, check Ned out.
Ned. It's great.
Check Ned out. Is he in Manila?
He's in Subic, where I'm from.
He's
the small town of Subic. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've done it then. Have we done it?
Yes.
All right.
Who do we have on this week?
We have on Jen Fisher-Smith, who is, well, I think I gush about her in about 10 seconds. So check her out. I adore her. You're going to have fun.
Awesome.
We did it.
We did.
It's not how I really look. It's how I want to. How I look to other people.
I don't look this way either, I haven't looked this way since last March 14th, to be exact. I remember precisely.
Yeah, like you were fucking killing it March 14th, and then pandemic, and it was like, I'm never taking off my sweatpants.
Exactly. I'm never wearing anything with a zipper ever again because I don't need to.
Why would I? It's a fucking pandemic. Yeah.
I'm not even sure I can anymore. Like, I don't know if I didn't bring anything out to Arizona with zippers.
Yeah.
So when I get back to New York,
I think if you're wearing something with a zipper when you get to the border at Arizona, they confiscate it.
I think you might be right.
Excuse me, ma'am. This is a place where people come to retire. No zippers are allowed. Elastic pants only.
Exactly.
Right?
And polyester if you can manage it.
Right. And if you have something that's 100% linen with a zipper, they haul you off. Handcuffs.
Oh my God. There's a special jail. It's somewhere up in Scottsdale next to a golf course.
It's underneath the 18th hole. It's a dungeon underneath the 18th hole.
I think you might be right. And you can hear them screaming.
Yeah. All right. Now, okay. So Ronnie's going to have to figure this out because I haven't even introduced you yet, but that was podcasting gold. Podcasting gold. All right. So I am so excited to have this woman on my podcast. We've never met in real life. We've only met via Zoom and FaceTime, but she's one of my favorite people on the planet. She's so funny. She's so talented. She came to me because she's writing a memoir, and an amazing memoir. And I was like, you got to be on the podcast. And so here she is, looking unbelievably gorgeous, the incredible Jen Fisher-Smith. Hi, honey.
Hi, honey. Thank you for having me, Nelsie.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. Yeah.
I hope I live up to that introduction. You really should have downplayed me a little bit.
Yeah. She's, it's a favor to a friend. She felt bad. So I was like, yeah, come on the podcast.
I guess we don't ever have to air it.
We don't have to air it. That's what I said. Yeah. That's what I said to Ronnie. We don't have to air it. She's been a little down because of the quarantine. Let's just get her on.
Exactly.
And look at you.
Let her feel good.
Really, when this is done, please, I hope you're going, oh, well, you can't go out and have cocktails. What's the lockdown situation in Arizona, by the way?
So, I mean, people are wearing masks, which I actually was worried about when we came out here. I thought, I hope people are following the rules, and they are. There's indoor dining, which I'm not comfortable with, so we're not doing that. I mean, we've just been staying home. We see family wearing masks outside, so just playing it safe. We left New York, when it was just starting to die down, and Arizona became the hot spot. I'm like, what are we doing? Wow. Yeah, Jen's a New Yorker. She lives in Manhattan, but they were like, winter's coming. Why? Maybe we go somewhere warm. And her husband's mom lives there, so they had a good reason to go there. We did. So she lives about 10 minutes away, and we rented a house in this like quintessential retirement community here, and could not be more suburban. Like, I feel like I'm in like the Stepford Wives.
Yeah. But it's Stepford Senior.
Yes, it's Stepford Senior. And if I go out, like, people, if you drive by people or you walk by people, they wave and say hello. I am so worried when I get back to New York, because I'm going to be walking around Chelsea going, hello, good morning to you. And people are going to be like,
they're going to be like, she doesn't belong here. She's a tourist.
I know. Ship her back.
Yeah, it's funny, right? People are friendly. Yeah, it's like once you've been in New York for a long time, you don't have patience if somebody takes too long making a coffee, takes too long making a sandwich, you just want to jump over the counter and make the fucking, it's like, yes, yeah. I'm fine. My day's great. Good. I got places to go.
Just move it along.
Yeah. Can we move it along? Yeah.
I know. I feel like I'm going to have to go through some sort of, like debriefing or something when I get back to New York and sort of relearn how to be a New Yorker. I need to pass up the suburbs.
Yeah. You know what they'll do? They'll put you in a really crowded subway train that smells a little bad. Then it's a simulation. It's really a simulation just to get used to it. And then the lights will go off, and then an announcer will say,
but you'll be stuck. You won't know how long you're going to be stuck there for, and it'll just be the way to get back used to the city. Yeah.
I think that'll do it. I think that singular event might be all it's going to take for me. To just that and some utility pizza.
Yeah. Oh, pizza.
Right?
I'm vegan now. I haven't had pizza in December, January, February. I haven't had pizza in 15 months. I have not had cheese in 15 months. Wow. I know. I'm waiting for the ticker tape parade and for the Pope to saint me. Yeah.
That's around the corner. I'm just telling you.
Around the corner.
No, like the first 3 months of quarantine, I thought, how long can this possibly last? So my husband and I just ate cheese every night. And we were like, we were just like, Wheel of Brie, why not? This can't last. It'll be fine. And after 3 months, I'm like, oh my God, my clothes don't fit anymore, and my clothes is getting really round. I wonder if I should dial it back in case this continues for a while.
Yeah, and once you raise that Brie bar, once you're like used to a wheel a day, it's very hard to take it down.
I'm telling you.
I miss Brie.
Yeah.
I miss Brie. I do.
They don't make a vegan Brie.
No, I'm sure they do, but it's crappy. I'm sure they do.
It's crappy.
Not to say that there aren't some really good. There is some really good vegan. My son and his girlfriend made, for his birthday, they made dinner. They made the best vegan tacos. They made mushroom ones and lentil ones. They were so good. And no cheese, but still delicious.
That sounds good. There's a vegan Mexican restaurant in the city that I absolutely love. And you don't even miss, the dairy.
Yeah. When the food's
done well.
When you have a good chef or cook, I don't know if I can call my son and his girlfriend chefs yet, but soon. So it's so funny to be like interviewing you, because I know you and I don't know you, because I know you because you're writing a memoir that's fabulous, by the way. And, but then, and I feel like I know you pretty well, but let me ask you a couple of questions for the listeners who do not know you well. So I kind of want to know when you first got the idea for writing a memoir.
Okay.
And yeah.
It's funny. I was actually just thinking about this the other day, and I took my first memoir class in 2017. So in 2017, and I think at that point I was far enough away from the experience to be able to write about it and not have it affect me. Because I think some people, in fact, there were people in classes I've taken who were just too close to a personal experience to write about it. You need that distance.
Absolutely.
So I started writing it in 2017, and I did two memoir classes, and then I hooked up with two women who had been in those classes with me, and we formed a small writers group, and they were both also writing memoir, of course, and it just kind of continued. But I didn't really get serious until you and I hooked up last January, because I had 125 pages or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was disjointed. I didn't know what the arc of the story was going to be at that point, and I needed somebody to read it and say to me, here's what you need to do next, because I just felt very stuck. And so I'm so fortunate that you came into my life at that point, and we hit it off, and I felt like you really got me, and what I was the story that I was trying to get across.
Yeah. I know. I feel so happy that happened, because First of all, you have a great story to tell. Secondly, you're so funny, and beyond just being funny, you're a wonderful writer. And I always say that if you want to write a memoir, it's not for the faint of heart. Nobody writes the memoir about the happy life. That you just don't do it because who's interested?
Well, that's it. Who wants to read that?
Yeah. My parents loved me and expressed it appropriately. Get out of here.
Every day with sunshine and bunnies,
Yeah, nothing but unicorns and rainbows. Get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, we all want to read about struggle. We want to read about redemption. We want to read about success. We want to read about, we got to root for somebody. So
Definitely.
yeah. And what was how long had you been thinking about it before you went to the first class? Or because you were saying how you needed to have room to look back, but, so maybe you weren't thinking about it that long before you did it.
I don't think I was.
Yeah.
I've always lived to write. So ever since I was a kid, I mean, in grade school, I wrote stories. I wrote ridiculous stories. I'm sure I think my mom still has them all. but yeah. She
gets a lot of points. She gets a lot of points for that.
She does. She really does.
She does.
The woman throws nothing out. Bless her. So yeah, I wrote, and I think I had been doing some fiction classes, and they weren't resonating for me. Like I didn't have a story. I was like, I had nothing, and I realized that I did have a story, but it was my story, and it was true, and it honestly, it was something I wanted to share with people, and I felt ready to share it. And it took me a long time to get there, get to a point where I was like, okay, I'm comfortable sharing this. Because, if you're writing a memoir, you are opening your kimono, and inviting people.
Nicely put. Now we've got our title. The open kimono.
Exactly.
It conjures an image. It does. It conjures an image.
Right? maybe a good one, maybe not. I don't know. But I think it pretty much sums up what it's like to, share such a personal piece of yourself with people. Yeah. And the good news is that, when in the writing of it, that's it. You're writing it. So the more you think about, well, I'm just writing it for me, or I'm just writing it for me and my writing coach, or right. And that gives you the permission to not hold back, and to tell it all. And and then you get to worry later, once you send it off to an agent or whatever, then you get to freak out. But, I know. I always say to my students and my clients, well, what if my parents this? What if my mom that? I'm like, honey, that's such a high class problem, because it means it's been published and it means people are reading it. So worry about that once they're about to put when
your
you
book.
Get there.
Yeah. I used to say on the shelves of Barnes & Noble, but I don't know if that, I know shelves still exist. I think Barnes & Noble still exists, but
they're still around. Isn't that terrible? I don't know that.
Yeah. I mean, do people still go to Barnes & Noble? That's the question. And will they go again? Once
That's
this
the bigger question.
Yeah. And I think they will. People love to browse bookstores. Yeah.
There's nothing.
Right?
I love a bookstore. You walk in and the tables of books, and I can spend hours.
Me too. Hours, and I'll pick up 5 or 6 of them, and then sometimes just still walk out the door with nothing. I do that all the time.
I usually walk out with a stack of 5, and then they join the other 5 that is on my nightstand already, and they become acquainted, and they're like, how long have you been here? A year. How about
I've been
you?
here for 8 years.
How long does it take to cycle through?
You'll never cycle through.
Exactly.
See that one? No, he's been here for a decade. Well, it's Tolstoy. What does he expect?
Exactly. Of course, I'm on the bottom.
But it looks impressive if you have Tolstoy on your nightstand. It looks impressive. So
no, I'm gonna have to add that.
Yeah. Oh my God. So, all right. So what else? So you are in Arizona, surrounded by Stepford seniors, and
in golf carts.
Oh my God.
Let's just add that detail.
Oh my God. Oh. So how have you what have you done? I mean, it was funny because when she was on her way, Jen had some trepidation about going to Arizona, which is understandable when you're a New Yorker and she has a beautiful apartment in New York and you're used to your routine and look, when you're in New York, anything you need is in spitting distance. There's a dry cleaners, there's Afghani food, there's whatever you want, right?
It's right there.
It's right there. And you're used to it. And they will, they'll bring it to you. And this was pre-COVID when everything could be brought to you. No, I guess it was post-COVID when you decided to go. But so you had some trepidation and I was like, honey, it's going to be fun. It's going to be warm weather. Just look at it. It's an adventure, right?
You were so good. You brought me back from the ledge.
Yeah. She had the panic. There was panic in her voice.
There's no question. But now we were supposed to leave at the beginning of January, and now we're here until the end of March. So the sun is a powerful drug, and
why would you leave it?
It's hard to leave it. Yeah.
It's like, I could. Okay. Seniors and golf carts withstanding. And the fact that I'm saying seniors with anything but a loving and affectionate tone is horrible because I am months away from officially being a senior.
Never.
Yeah. But golf carts and elastic pants notwithstanding, you've been kind of digging it. Am I right?
It's been different. I don't drive, so the only time I really drive is when we come out and visit my mother-in-law, and I might drive a couple of times. But I've been driving nonstop since we've been
Wow.
And it's so weird, you kind of get, I don't know. So now I'm more comfortable with it.
That's good.
And the grocery stores are big, huge, they're vast. Oh my God.
You could drive a golf cart down that aisle.
You could drive 2 golf carts down each aisle. It's amazing. So,
and nobody's elbowing you and getting mad at you. I mean, sometimes there's a grocery store on the Upper West Side of Manhattan that's fairly famous called Fairway. And I used to live on the Upper West Side. And I stopped going to Fairway because every time I went, I pissed off an old person. And again, I was younger then, but every time I went, I got the wrath of someone in their 80s who, had lived in that neighborhood since the 40s and just hated me. So it can be treacherous just going to the grocery store in Manhattan. And so, but there in Arizona, it's lovely. Tell me.
I will say this. I made it my personal mission. So there's a particular grocery store that's nearby, and it has self-checkout. And if I can avoid human interaction, I will. I will go out of my way to avoid other humans. So I thought, awesome, self-checkout. And I get up there, and there's a horrible machine, which I think is extra loud for people who don't hear well. And it's like, please place your item in the bagging area. Take your item away from the bagging area. And then it's like, help is on the way. And there's this big, flashing yellow light on it on the top of the machine. And no matter what I did,
help was always on the way.
Every time. And then, some like.
And you're like, excuse me, I am a savvy New Yorker. I do not need help.
I'm
like how embarrassing to be like, look, she doesn't know what she's doing.
Exactly. And the 95-year-old next to me is like,
let me help you, sweetheart.
I know, exactly. Oh God. But I was like, I refused. I was like, I am doing it. I am gonna do it. And I finally did. I finally went there and I won. That machine didn't yell at me once. And I just came out and I'm like, victory.
The Rocky theme is playing. Dun dun dun. You're jumping in slow motion. Dun dun dun.
Exactly. I'm waving my legs.
Pointing at the barcode, flipping off the camera.
That was pretty much it.
Your work there is done. Your work there is done.
Well, I do. I kind of feel like that was my big goal. And I
goal for 2020.
I'm like, time to go home.
I'm not cutting down on the brie consumption, but I am going to master that self-checkout.
Exactly. The brie can wait.
Yeah. Come on. Oh my God. That's so funny. So you've become like a suburbanite. You're living in a house with a backyard, with a fountain.
I know. It's called a water feature.
Thank you. Sorry, a water feature with a water feature. Because fountains are for Rome, and if they're not in Rome, they're tacky. But if they're called a water feature, okay.
Yeah, then you can have that in your backyard.
And you're driving, going to the grocery store, and doing self-checkout.
I know. And we have a golf cart.
You do. Oh, see, she's kept this from me until just now. You have.
I only just remembered because I haven't driven it in a while, but yes, we do.
Oh, see, that just makes me want to come. It makes me just want to come and drive that golf cart.
Here for a couple months, please. Come hang out with me in suburbia.
Oh my God. Oh God, that is fantastic. Well, I'm really proud of you because I think that, you grabbed Arizona by the balls and you're just you're enjoying it. God damn it.
Son of a bitch, I'm going to enjoy this place.
This dry desert. But yeah, and like what you were saying, yes, the sun is a very strong drug. And so even though you're a New Yorker, it's going to be hard to leave a place that's sunny and warm all the time. I mean, it gets cold at night because it's a desert, right? It still gets cold at night.
Yeah, although I will say that winter was about 3 weeks long. And it got cold overnight, and then you'd get up in the morning and it would be in the 20s or 30s. So, it was very cold. But that was like 3 weeks tops. And now it's in the mid 70s and, so I can see why people want to hang out here.
Yeah. My dad lived in the high desert of Mexico, as I think you know, for the later part of his life. And my husband and I went and visited him. And he lived in like a little adobe house. I can't decide whether to say house or hut, with no heat or hot water. And we spent the night sharing a twin bed, my husband and I in this little twin bed, and just the entire night. Because it's fucking... In the desert, it's fucking cold at night.
It's so
Yeah. During the day, it could be 100. Doesn't make sense. Some meteorologist could explain it to me, but I don't understand. No, Doug and I still talk. We talked about that night a week ago. It came up like, do you remember when we spent the night at your dad's? And of course, I had to pee in the middle of the night, but peeing meant going out to an outhouse. Yeah. Oh God.
Horrifying.
Don't worry, kids. I will retire somewhere nice with indoor plumbing. I promise.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I think it's the least a parent can do for their child.
Yeah. Go
Indoor
somewhere
plumbing.
warm. Yes. Indoor plumbing.
No, I'm done with the bare minimum here. I'm just saying indoor plumbing.
Indoor plumbing. Maybe heat. But if not heat, let's have some indoor plumbing.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, don't make people pad outside to do their business. It's
in the middle of the night. Fair. In the middle of the night when you're in the high desert of Mexico and it's probably 20 degrees out.
If you're lucky.
Oh my God. So you have a story for me, am I right?
I do have a story for you. Yes, indeed. Yeah. So are you ready? You ready for it?
I am ready if you are. I am ready.
Okay. So my losing it story starts in the summer of 2008 in London. And my husband and I had just moved there from Manhattan for his job. And we signed up for a year, but it was open-ended, so we didn't actually know how long we were going to be there. But it was going to be this big adventure, living abroad and, traveling around Europe. And all that was really great, but I was super nervous. And not just because we were basically turning our lives upside down to move to a foreign country, but because by that point I had been in treatment for bipolar disorder for about 6 years. And now my psychiatrist was going to be 3,500 miles away from me.
Scary.
Very scary.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk more about my own bipolar disorder, but if it's okay, I just wanted to give a quick definition for people who might not be as familiar with it.
Yeah.
So it's a mental illness that causes extreme mood swings. So manic highs, depressive lows, and actually it used to be called manic depression, but they changed it to bipolar disorder. And there are actually 5 types, but I'll just touch on bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. And the difference between those two is the severity of the mania. So mania meaning overly energetic, exaggerated self-confidence, taking on a lot of projects all at once, less need for sleep, racing thoughts, things like that. So if you picture what I'm going to call a bipolar crazy scale from 1 to 10, bipolar 1 is like an 11 or a 12, and the mania is very severe. It can last for weeks, even months.
And that's probably the person that's more likely to be hospitalized in a manic state.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This person might become delusional. They might have hallucinations. They could break from reality and have psychosis. So it's incredibly severe.
Yeah.
The bipolar 2 is more in the middle of the scale. So that person is going to experience something called hypomania. And it only lasts about 4 or 5 days. And no psychosis, no hospital stay.
And you might let me ask you this, Jen. You might even have it, but not know that you have it. Like if it's like, oh, I'm just having would it be possible to have a manic episode and not recognize it as a manic episode, or not?
No, I think actually early on, when before I was diagnosed, so my hypomanic tell was moving furniture around. Like I would stay up all night, and usually my husband would be out of town, and I would just move heavy furniture from one room to another.
But you moved it because you had a plan, right?
I had a plan, and part of it too, part of that I'll just speak to hypomania, but for me, the hypomania was a compulsion. It wasn't just, I think the sofa would look better over there. It was like the sofa must be there. I must move it.
And I must do it now, even though it's 2 a.m.
Yeah, it didn't matter. And it didn't matter anyway, because I didn't need any sleep. I was staying up all night anyway. So might as well make myself useful. But yes, to answer your question, I didn't know what that behavior was at the time.
Yeah.
I thought it was probably a little weird, but yeah. So I'm bipolar 2, meaning medium crazy, I guess. That's how I like to refer to myself. So that first year in London, I was taking a mood stabilizer and also an antidepressant. And my New York psychiatrist and I had a 20-minute phone conversation every month. And this was a typical exchange. She'd ask me, "How's your job?" And I'd say, "Fine." In my head, I was thinking, I move people's jobs to India and put them out of work. My coworkers fucking hate me. And then she'd say, "How's your weight?" I'd say, "Fine. I only wear caftans now." "How's your drinking?" "Fine." By which I mean daily and in great quantity.
Yeah.
"How's your sleep?" "Fine. Most nights I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wishing I was dead." So we had that conversation every month for about 8 months. And
it's
around that,
I just have to interject that it's so disturbing to me that, this point you're diagnosed, you're on 2 different kinds of medication. You've been under her care for how long?
So I was first diagnosed in 2002, and I was under the care of my first psychiatrist for 2 years. And
so this is psychiatrist number 2.
This is psychiatrist number 2, and so I've been seeing her. Let's see, I guess since 2004. Since about 2004.
Right.
Yeah.
So you move into another country and you have one 20-minute conversation on the phone, and that's the extent of it.
That's it. Other than the drugs, I mean, in terms of like, talk support, I think we can agree that was
non-existent.
Completely absent from this relationship. So I'm pretty discouraged at this point, and I stopped taking my meds. Cold turkey. Couldn't see the point anymore. Just,
woke up one morning and said, "I'm done."
Yeah, pretty much. And you know this about me, and anyone who knows me knows this about me. I am such a planner. I just I can barely get through a day without a spreadsheet. But I just woke up one morning and I looked at the pill bottles and I thought, nope, not doing it anymore. Just not.
Yeah.
It's not helping.
Wow. And did anybody know that the depth of your sadness or the depth of your hopelessness? What word would you use to describe it, or words?
I mean, the short answer is no. I don't think so. I mean, that was all subtext in the conversations with my psychiatrist. I never said anything other than fine. As far as she knew,
I'm sorry, because I love you, and I just feel angry that someone who is in charge of giving somebody meds for a mental illness that would take things at face value. How's that? Fine. Well, maybe ask a second question like, so what's the thing you like most about your job? Or are you having any moments where you're feeling sad? Or what issues? Just don't say how something. Say, what issues can I help you with? What if she fucking said?
Question, please.
What if she said? What if she assumed that maybe you weren't doing well
and opened a door. I mean, are you fucking trained? Are you trained to help people?
Oh my goodness. Even more angrier as this story wears on. I just because no, it's part of what we were talking about at the beginning, right? With Memoir, and as I'm writing all this stuff, it comes back to me, and I do get angry, and I'm reliving it, and so I will often, if I'm like, I've already written this section in the memoir, and I will have to get up and walk away and take a deep breath, because I still get angry. It brought me to where I am now. I'm grateful for that. I mean, I guess that's one way to look at it, but yeah, I mean, it was fucking irresponsible.
It was irresponsible.
I was in her care. Yeah. Yeah, I was in her care.
Yeah, and is that the protocol? Is that the protocol? How's that? Okay, great. Bye. That's $150. See you soon. Love you. Kiss.
Oh, and that's it. Yeah. And then, and I'm just like writing out checks and sending them off for, a 20-minute, 50-minute, what was supposed to be 50 minutes.
Right.
So I'm off meds, and I tell my husband about a week later, and he doesn't seem very worried. And I don't know if it was because he was traveling so much around then, or maybe because he'd forgotten what I was like before I went on medication. And then I told my psychiatrist about a month later, and I was in New York, and we had our first in-person session in a year. And this is what she said to me, very serious. It was drastic and not a good idea. But she sounded like Zsa Zsa Gabor. So this is what I heard, darling. What were you thinking? And once again, I didn't say anything. But what I was actually thinking to myself was, I could save myself the weight gain, the brain fog, the acne, and I could still enjoy crushing depression, crippling anxiety, and all-consuming rage. So at the end of the session, I hand her a check for $175. And she encourages me to find a psychiatrist in London, which I took to mean, piss off, please go be someone else's problem now. So I got back to London, and I found a clinic that specializes in bipolar disorder. Only they won't take me because I don't have a referral from a local GP. And never mind that I'm going to pay for these things out of pocket. It doesn't matter. You got to follow the protocol. So my New York psychiatrist calls them and convinces them to take me. And
Zsa Zsa called them?
Zsa Zsa calls them. Darling, you really don't want this woman running around your streets unmedicated. I promise you. I don't know what she said. It was probably something along those lines.
She cannot be on the streets of London unmedicated.
She may not. No, you don't want that. I promise. So that is how I ended up with my third psychiatrist in 7 years. This slightly paunchy, middle-aged British man in a tweed jacket. So he and I have our first meeting, and I walk him through my mental health history. And he has me fill out 2 standardized forms. So the first one has about 15 or 20 symptoms. And I read through them. So feeling depressed, sleeping too much, feeling like a failure, thoughts of self-harm or suicide. And I read through them and I'm like, well, that sounds like a typical Tuesday. So I just marked X's down all of the time. Yeah, exactly. Like, straight down. I mean, I feel that way all the time. So, and then the other one had a bunch of yes or no questions. So, decreased need for sleep, more irritable than usual, more energetic than usual, recently lost weight. Sadly, no.
That's one of the no's.
So I knew my answers were going to put me back on medication. And I had mixed feelings because on the one hand, I knew I needed to be on medication. On the other hand, I hated the side effects. So a tiny part of me wanted this doctor to add up my scores and say something like, oh, jolly good, best scores I've ever seen. And then he just
you're brilliant.
And then he just sent me on my way with a clean bill of mental health. But instead, he confirmed what two other psychiatrists had already said to me, which is I have bipolar 2 disorder. And then he put me back on lithium and an antidepressant. So fast forward 3 years. I've been working with this guy the whole time. And for reasons that really honestly, like to this day, still not clear why he did this. He took me off the mood stabilizer. And I should have thought, is that a good idea? But instead, I was like, well, he's the doctor, he knows what he's doing, right? It'll be fine. And then a year after that, he decided that I was no longer bipolar 2. And he gave me a different diagnosis, something called distress intolerance. And I finally started to think, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah.
But I still didn't push back. That's how little confidence I had in myself. I thought, what if the other psychiatrists were wrong? Maybe I don't have bipolar disorder. Except the diagnosis had defined my life for 10 years by that point. And I liked knowing there was a medical reason that my brain flipped out and did the things it did. So this is going to sound so weird, but I needed to confirm that I was mentally ill.
But no, it doesn't, because bipolar disorder, highs and lows, moving furniture, and you had some lows, so you checked out all the boxes. I mean, Dr. Tweedy, Mr. Tweed, he confirmed it when you went to him. You checked off all the boxes. So how do you go from, we figured out what your diagnosis is, I am confirming what two other people confirmed, but nope, you're not anymore. It just doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense. I kind of felt like, I don't know if he just got bored or I wasn't an interesting enough case. I was like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not bipolar 1. That would probably be way more interesting.
I'd keep him so interested. Yeah.
Yes. So I took matters into my own hands. I went on Google and I pulled up the definitions of bipolar disorder. And then I went through the hallmarks of the disease because I wanted to make sure everything still applied to me. So the first thing is you have to have had at least one hypomanic and one major depressive episode to be considered bipolar 2. So for hypomania, for 4 to 5 consecutive days of extreme happiness and or extreme irritability. And then you need 3 more symptoms. So things like less need for sleep, rapid speech, easily distracted. Like imagine a kitten with a ball of whale.
Oh, look, a squirrel. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I scored 7 out of 8 for hypomania.
Wow.
And the 8th symptom is exaggerated self-confidence, which I couldn't define if my life were on the line, right? So, that's never been my problem.
Oh, fine. The one symptom that might actually serve me in life.
I know, I could have used that. Damn it. And then, okay, so now I'm on to the major depressive episode, and that is 2 weeks of intense sadness and despair. You feel helpless. You feel worthless. Things that used to be fun, you have zero interest. So maybe you used to go out to brunch with friends on the weekend, and now you're like, I think I'll just throw myself in front of a bus instead.
Let's see. Frittata, suicide.
I'm thinking suicide. Yeah.
Unless it's a really good frittata. It better be a damn good frittata.
It has to be a really good frittata, because the M25's on its way.
I just want to say that we've known each other a long time now, a year, but we know each other really well because we work together. And I don't want anybody to think that I am, for a minute lessening the severity of depression and the cripplingness of depression and the severity of it or the seriousness of it. I just am, I just deal with things with humor. That's all. I don't want anybody to think that I'm thinking, depression is not funny, but I personally, I'm at my funniest when I'm depressed because I get very dark humor. So, and Jennifer, she gives me a pass. So, but I don't want anybody who's listening to think that I would minimize the effect of that or the seriousness of it. So,
well, and I will say the same thing because, all this has happened to me, and I'm not making light of it either. My lows were low. I did think about suicide a lot.
Yeah.
And, I spent months in depression. I spent most of 2019 depressed.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm like, we've talked about this, and
yes,
I. And,
yes.
It's the only way I can tell this story is through humor, because first of all, it would be way too depressing to read otherwise. But it helps me not put it in perspective, because I think that's the wrong way to put it. But I guess it helps me. I don't even know how to say it. I guess be able to live with it.
Yeah, and I also think, for me, I've suffered from some depression and some anxiety. Depression more, and being a survivor of childhood sexual abuse from my father. Humor is, if you can't laugh, if you can't joke about incest, what can you joke about? I mean, that is really a horrible joke, but it's a great joke. And I use it because the minute I start to bring up stuff that's really deep and that makes me really vulnerable, I do want to talk about it because it's important to talk about it because other people have had this problem. And I want them to know that I've had it and I've survived it or am surviving it. But there's a part of me that wants to deflect pity by making a joke because I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable with pity because I don't really want pity. So I think that's a piece of it too. There's a part of me that's like, I'm going to be funny because I'm going to show you I'm okay. And it also does, if you can't laugh about incest, what can you laugh about? It makes it survivable. It makes it survivable. And I think you're right. I also hope
people who hear this who do suffer from, bipolar 2 or depression, know that, you can get through. You can get through it. And, for me to be able to laugh now about things and really to be able to write about it, but to be able to write about it in a way that's not maudlin, as you're saying, I would say the same thing about depression. If you can't laugh about depression,
Yeah.
can you laugh about it? Not when you're in it, obviously.
Yeah, you can't when you're in it. No, you can't when you're in it. You can't when you're in it. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
it sucks.
Yeah.
Totally
So you go back and you Google and you're like, got 7 out of 8 over here. I got, I'm.
So now I'm on major depressive order, and I needed 3 more symptoms. And so those are things like guilt, slowed speech, thoughts of suicide. And I scored a perfect score, 8 out of 8. Right?
Wow, you get to go into the bonus round. That's good.
Right. I know. It's like, okay, let's Jeopardy. Jeopardy. So,
Alex, I'll take suicidal thoughts for 600.
Exactly. Run over by a bus. So I have completed my analysis, and I think to myself, yep, still bipolar. How do I convince my psychiatrist? So I had this ridiculous idea, right? This fantasy of getting someone who super respectable to vouch for me and convince him, and somebody he just couldn't deny.
Right.
I Google most trusted person in Great Britain, and do you know who it is?
No.
It is BBC wildlife presenter Sir David Attenborough. Right? The man, I kid you not. The man is a national treasure. Of course, right? So the man's a national treasure. And I had imagined Sir Attenborough would present my findings to my psychiatrist, and my psychiatrist would be forced to admit his alternate diagnosis was bullshit, and that I really am bipolar. I even wrote a script.
Okay, let's hear it.
So I'd like to read it for you.
Please do.
So here's David Attenborough. He's standing at a podium, and he's narrating a documentary film starring me that's running on a screen behind him. Right? All right. Look, as the North American hypomanic bipolar, whose migration pattern has brought her temporarily to London, comes into view. In this crowded urban habitat, she could easily blend in. Yet, if we pay close attention, certain clues help us spot her. Watch as the hypomanic attempts to lure stranger after stranger into one-sided conversations. Athletes, targets, struggle to disentangle themselves from her garrulous grip. Note the unreasonable number of shopping bags she is juggling, shifting the weight of them from one arm to the other. If we zoom in, we can see that in the largest sack, there's an easel, several canvases, assorted clothes, and pots of paint for a project that will never be initiated. One must look more carefully to spot the hypomanic's close cousin, the reclusive, major depressive bipolar, whose native habitat is the sofa. An instinctive defense mechanism in the form of a navy blue sweatsuit allows her to blend in seamlessly with the surrounding upholstery and thus avoid unwanted intruders. The major depressive seldom leaves the safety of her territory. Unlike the hypomanic, who is eager to connect, the major depressive keeps verbal exchanges to a bare minimum. Her hallmark sluggishness allows her to preserve energy for only the most necessary of tasks, such as eating peanut butter from a jar, using it as a spoon, while the other hand trades off between delivering vodka martinis to her mouth and employing the remote control. The existence of this species pair, so close in resemblance, yet so vastly different from one another in temperament and behavior, reminds us of the puzzling dichotomy that can exist within the natural world. Obviously, thank you. I was not able to make that happen. I still think it would be great. I almost want to send him the script.
Oh my God! But you know that if it was said in the male voice with the British accent, it would land, right? You can't. You know,
I couldn't nail it. You know, I couldn't nail like the sort of gravelly British accent. You know, his awestruck, scholarly delivery. I couldn't do it.
Oh God, that was so good. Oh my God, the image of the hand into the peanut butter with the martinis and the remote.
I think I've done that. Yeah, I think I've spent a few weeks like that.
Okay. So here you have this psychiatrist who's decided you're not bipolar. You go back.
I'm off mood stabilizers. I'm not bipolar, according to him. And now he gets rid of the antidepressant. So still not clear on what he's doing. But the effect was immediate. I fell into a depression. And he reluctantly, I think, put me back on Prozac for about 18 months. And then he took me off again. So it was around then, so it would have been the end of 2015. My husband and I moved back to New York. No medications. And for the next year, my moods were kind of, all over the place, up and down. And there were points when I really thought, I'm headed for a major depressive episode here. But I thought, okay, big change, moving back to New York. I'm sure it'll even out. So I didn't seek out professional help. And, also I'd been working on my mental health for about 14 years by then. I was kind of done. I was so sick of the process.
Yeah. So sick of that's like almost a full-time job.
It is a full-time job.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. It certainly was for me anyway.
Yeah.
So the next part of the story, I need people to hang in there with me and just hear me out. Okay.
I'm with you, baby. I'm with you.
I know you are. I need everyone else to be. So early 2017, because I'm going to sound like more of a lunatic. About a year after we moved back from London, my husband and I adopt a puppy. Chocolate and tan, miniature dachshund, big brown eyes, soft, floppy ears, wrinkly little legs, and we name her Olive. And, okay, please take a moment, picture in your mind this sweet, innocent little puppy. Before I say this, she was Satan. I'd never had a dog before, growing up. I had no idea what to expect, but I figured if we have a plan, we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
So I created color-coded spreadsheets that mapped out her entire day from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. When to eat, when to pee and poo, when to sleep, when to play, when to curl up and be adorable.
And we know that a puppy will always respond to a spreadsheet and a schedule because that's how puppies are.
Here's how naive I was. I thought she would. It's a spreadsheet. It's right here.
Look, Olive.
Right now, you should be curling up and being adorable. It's 3:30 p.m. What are you doing?
Yeah. No, it's adorable time. No. Put down my shoe. It's adorable time.
Exactly. Do not.
No, don't pee in the corner.
Yeah, so she was having none of it, right? I actually think she enjoyed mocking me. So,
well, she was Satan. Of course, she enjoyed mocking
she was
you.
Satan. Of course, she was mocking me. I mean, this was for reasons even beyond this. It was just, like having to be out in public when I didn't want to, and dealing with all the people who wanted to pet her, and just a lot of things that went along with having her in my life. I started to crack, and all the things that medication keep in check for me, depression, anxiety, rage, all that built up and started to come out. And it got so bad for me, I asked my husband if we could give the puppy back to the breeder. And you would have thought I suggested we pop an apple in her mouth and roast her up for a luau.
That was your second choice.
That was my second choice. I kept that one to myself. So, no, in fairness to my
kidding. I'm kidding. Of course, I'm kidding.
We are both kidding, obviously.
Yes. Yeah.
Please, ASPCA, do not come after me.
Yeah. No, we are both big dog lovers.
We are big dog lovers.
Olive has her own goddamn Instagram. Okay, so just relax.
She does.
Relax. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to spoiler alert, but I just want you people to know. Okay.
So, in fairness to my husband, he's been tolerant and understanding over the years, but that was really it for him. And he suggested, not so nicely, I might add, that I go get some antidepressants. So I guess he thought losing my shit over a puppy was a bridge too far even for me. Also, and this is the kicker, I think, he was so completely in love with this dog. I harbored no illusions. If it came down to wife versus dog, I was the one packing my bags. So our primary care doctor prescribed enough Prozac for a month, provided I find a new psychiatrist and go back on mood stabilizers. And I knew I needed professional help and drugs, but I'd already been through 3 psychiatrists and limited success, right, to put it mildly. So fortunately, a very good friend of mine, she's also a therapist, recommended a psychiatrist that she had heard good things about, which sadly is more rare than you'd think. So I made an appointment, and at our first meeting, the new psychiatrist confirmed my bipolar 2 diagnosis. And some people...
What a surprise. What a shock.
Yeah. And some people might think, well, that's a shame. And I was just like, no, yes, I am crazy. I was just like, oh my God, this is the best news ever. And, because
I'm bipolar 2. I'm bipolar 2.
Yeah, exactly. I've been jerked around for 7 years by my previous psychiatrist, and I felt vindicated.
Yeah.
So she left me on Prozac, put me on a mood stabilizer, not lithium, because she actually listened to me, that I didn't like the side effects. And at the end of the session, I asked her, what should I call you? Do you prefer doctor? Can I call you by your first name? And she said, whatever you're comfortable with. And I was like, oh. So I said, I'll call you by your first name. And I know that sounds probably really trivial, but for me, it was this huge breakthrough moment. Because in my mind, it created a partnership between us. And for the first time in 15 years, I had a psychiatrist that I trusted, and I felt like an actual participant in my own mental health care. So I had to temporarily lose my faith in psychiatry, along with probably a lot of my sanity. But I'm in a pretty good place now. And that's my movement story. And just to reiterate, I do love my dog. I love Olive. I fell in love with her. She's been part of our family for 4 years.
Yeah, and she's really cute. And what's her Instagram page?
Olive, the mini sausage dog.
all of the mini sausage dog. And she is unbelievably cute. And that's one of the men. First of all, that is such a good story. And I love the way you framed it. And I got tears in my eyes when you talked about your current psychiatrist. I know her name. I won't mention it because we are giving her.
I love her so much. I mean,
yeah, she's so great. And I love the thing that it's so interesting because it's like you go, and I think that this has happened. I'm certain this has happened for millions of people. We go looking for help, and it might be a therapist, it might be a psychiatrist, it might be a medical doctor for an illness, and we listen to them because they're professionals, and we just nod and we assume, and we don't necessarily listen to ourselves. So it's a journey sometimes, and you to find someone who you're in partnership with, you guys are on the same team towards your mental health and your happiness is just gorgeous, and I love it.
Yeah, I am so grateful that my path led me to her, because she's incredible. I really do trust her.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, so I want to say go buy Jen's book, but it's not ready yet.
We're working on it.
But it's going to be ready soon, and it's so good. I can't wait. And you get the whole story. Story.
Yes.
And
this is like the Reader's Digest.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, well, we end with 3 questions. And the first question is, what is something that you hope to lose in the next year?
Okay. Something I hope to lose in the next year is my need to control everything all the time. I would like to learn to let go a little bit and maybe use fewer spreadsheets.
Just so you know, guys, there's going to be spreadsheets in the book because she still has all of them. She documents everything.
Yeah, Olive's daily schedule will be in the book.
Oh God. Okay, so I like that. That's a great one. Lose the need to control everything all the time. What is something you hope to gain in the next year?
Something I hope to gain is acceptance. Not just of myself, but also of other people. I can be a really harsh critic, by which I mean judgy asshole. So I'd like to be more forgiving.
Yeah, good. That's a good one. I like that one. Because, they do say that however, I can be a judgy asshole as well. And the level of judginess that we have for others is equal to the level of judginess we have for ourselves.
Oh, so, yeah, I believe that.
Acceptance is a really good one. And last but not least, something that you hope that you never lose.
Something I hope I never lose is my support network. So I know it's a mushy one. My husband, my parents, close friends, family, people who have seen me through the ups and downs. I know it's not easy to be around somebody who's mentally ill. I do understand it. And I hope they know how much I appreciate them.
That's so good. Oh.
And it's true.
It is true. Oh my God, support system. I feel, I feel so blessed, but with that, in my support system as well.
Yeah, it makes such a difference.
Oh my God, people who need people are the luckiest people in the world. I mean, we all need that. And I feel so lucky. Ain't it the truth? I look around all the time and I go, oh my God, I'm so lucky. Lucky that I have the love in my life that I have. And, I have a good relationship with my husband and my kids and my siblings, and I have wonderful friends. And
it's everything.
I know. And my dog adores me, and Olive adores you.
I mean, she likes
she kind of likes you.
My husband is the favorite human, and he likes to remind me of that. As does she.
Hi. What? Say that again.
I said I think my earlier problems with Olive might have put me down a notch in the favorite human category.
Yeah. She doesn't forget. No, they forgive. Dachshunds forgive, but they never forget. Yeah, that's
I get that.
All right, honey. Well, this was great. I adore you. Thank you so much. So much fun. You look so great. I want to know that lipstick color, and I want those earrings.
I'll send you the info.
Oh, good. All right, and I will see you. I think I'm seeing you later tonight.
Yes, you are.
Right?
It's a Nelsie and day.
It's an all Nelsie network. All right, honey. I love you. Thank you so much.
You're
the best.
So much.
Bye.
You're the best. Bye.
Bye.
Right. You can go whenever.
All right, Jen Fisher-Smith. And you know what's really cool? She's a client of mine, and she's writing a memoir about this journey. And I see her every Friday. Last Friday, she finished the book.
Oh, really? Very cool.
Yeah. She read me what will be, she'll probably do rewrites, but she read me the last entry. It was gorgeous. So wasn't that was a good story? Yeah. She's an amazing person.
Yeah, that's a lot to go through,
Right? Yeah. And let's not forget that lipstick. Because that is some great lipstick.
Did you get some of that?
She sent me that lipstick. She sent me that lipstick. Yeah, I'm not wearing it because it doesn't really go with this sweater, but it's sort of an orangey. Well, you guys saw it. It's an orange. Not everybody saw it. Some of you are just. It's an orangey red, and I don't usually come. Just as I'm going into this, I'm like, Ronnie's thinking, kill me now. It's kind of an orangey red, and I don't usually go orangey. I usually go more of a purpley red, but I do think it works. Very cool. Fascinating,
it's
right?
Great. It's great stuff.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the Kylie lip kit? Have you heard of this?
Oh, does it have to do with Kylie Jenner?
Yeah, like her lip thing. She made like $1 billion off of.
Yeah, no, tell me. What is it? What does it do? It's just like
lipstick.
Because she didn't really have. It's just a lipstick.
It's like a matte lipstick.
Yeah, she's an
Yeah.
Oh, good for Kylie. Why do I have bad feelings towards Kylie? Kylie's never done anything to me. She's just making, she's making her way. She was born into that family, and she's taking advantage of it.
Yeah, no, it is. It does make sense. It's easy to like hate her because she was given everything, and then she's using those things to make things for herself. And not everyone gets that, but I would do the same thing.
No.
See,
exactly.
But the weird thing is that like if it was like if she went the other way, like a lot of people have done, where she just did the drugs and alcohol and rehab.
Right, right. You're right. Then we'd think, well, then we'd actually kind of feel bad for her.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Why would we feel bad? What do we want?
Yeah, exactly. You, Kylie, you do you. Damn it. You do you. Even if the lips that you have are not your own, you do you. I know. I have never watched even 5 minutes of the Kardashians.
I've watched
never
it,
ever
because my friend used to watch it, and it's like the weirdest thing. It's weird because I thought it was gonna be like drama and like that bitch took my lipstick color or whatever.
She took my lipstick, my orangey red lipstick. Yeah. But no, it's not. It's just unbelievable. It's just
literally like
minutia.
Throughout the day, they're following, and it's very like mundane.
Nothing happens.
It's crazy.
Mundane.
I thought it'd be like like fights and stuff, but that's like one episode.
Yeah, right. And that I've never watched it. It's it's been a little bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit of a sore spot for me, because when the whole reality, me and millions of other people, when a bunch of people got famous and made a lot of money for doing nothing, it kind of was irritating to some of us, and especially people that were, maybe trained actors or writers or But I only bless them now because I'm so mature and I have nothing but love and compassion for all of them. All of those Kardashians. Oh my God. So what do you think about, what do we ask for in terms of letters, given Jen's story? Because it's a sweeping story that she told, right?
Why don't we
a story of like
read the letter? Should we do this first, or should we read the letter that we got for this week?
You're supposed to be in charge of that, aren't you? No, you're right. Let's see. He is in charge, and I jumped the gate. Yeah, let's read the letter. We got a letter. We got a fan letter from last week.
And last week's, we asked for stories about lost fortune. So lost fortune.
That's right. After Sandy, oh my
when Sandy thought that she lost 10 grand, when in reality she never had 10 grand.
She never had it. But it taught her the beauty of skipping, which let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I'm serious though. I am. Skipping is good. Okay. I still skip when I can. Okay, here we go. Fan letter regarding Jen Fisher-Smith. Okay. Hi, Nelsie. Something that everyone should learn is that just because you can afford to buy something, you can't necessarily afford to own it. Wow. I knew a guy who was upset that one of his classmates had inherited $200,000 and decided not to spend it, but to keep it as economic security. And this, wow, interesting. He said that if it was him who got that money, he would have bought a nice car and pimped it up. How he intended to pay for maintenance, insurance, and repairs down the road didn't seem to factor into his plans. What he didn't seem to realize is that while the short-term buying power of 200 grand is great, it really doesn't amount to more than maybe 3 to 6 years of middle-class paycheck. That's true. And maybe not even that much these days. And that is without having the property investments, a typical middle-class person would have. Boy, this person is so mature. It helps a lot to get that money, but it doesn't make you a rich man. It doesn't. When in 1979, just before I moved to New York, I went on a game show and I won $28,000.
You?
And
are you talking about you?
Yeah.
You, Nelsie.
I'm talking about me, Nelsie Spencer.
Oh.
Me and Nelsie Spencer.
What game show?
And I was on Password Plus.
What?
I was the second biggest winner in Password Plus history.
Oh my gosh.
I left the show undefeated. Thank you very much. And I played opposite Patty Duke of The Patty Duke Show and The Miracle Worker. She was amazing and wonderful. Bill Cullen, who you will never have heard of, Ronnie, because he died 10 years before you were born. Okay. And Joyce Bulifant and Dick Gautier. You can look all of them up, or Ronnie, insert pictures here, right? They're all 70. They're all stars from the 70s.
Okay.
Anyway, I was undefeated. I thought that was so much money.
What is it? What game is it?
It's a game of synonyms, right?
Oh, okay.
And it goes,
password
the
game?
password is.
I know this game. I've heard of this.
Jimmy Fallon plays it now. If you go on YouTube, you can see Jimmy Fallon playing it with like Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if the password is money, you might say, to try and get your partner to say it, cash.
Money.
Now they might say money. Oh, Ronnie, so good. So good.
We should get back on there. Oh, wow.
The point of this whole story is I thought $28,000, and it was to me. I was 22, and it seemed like and it was 1979. Okay, in today's money, that would be. We'll figure that out. It was, I think I made a stupid investment. Whatever. I was not smart about the money. So we have to listen to this person. So I'll get back to the story. Okay, so the best thing about getting that kind of money would probably be to not have to worry so much about getting loans or covering living costs while studying or looking for work. And as a buffer in case of unexpected economic setbacks, I'd probably use a little of it for traveling as well, as it would take a lot of traveling to really eat into that amount of money. How to handle one's own economy should really be covered more in school. From Anonymous. Well, that is absolutely true. They don't cover any of that in school.
No.
At least, right?
No.
I mean, I don't think they even taught you how to balance a checkbook, which has gone the way of dinosaurs. Anyway.
No, but like filing your taxes, they don't teach you that. I had to learn that the hard way.
Because they don't know how to do it.
Oh yeah.
They don't. You think your teacher knows how to file it?
That's a good point.
Your teacher's paying somebody an H&R Block. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I did too.
So I love that Anonymous said that because when Sandy thought she won 10 grand, it was spent on a family vacation before she could even finish the scratching off.
Before she even had it. Yeah. So we're going to Hawaii.
She was calling her kids, we're going to Hawaii. And Anonymous is like,
yeah, just
because you have it doesn't mean.
Seriously.
They're right.
Yeah.
They are right. Yeah, because if you were to look at my bank balance, you would see that I have not followed Anonymous's advice. Oh my God. All right. Okay. And thank you, Anonymous. Guys, pay your taxes. You know, the rule of thumb is you should save 10% of everything that comes in, 10% of it should go into savings.
I believe in like way more than that. You know?
Yeah?
Yeah.
So how much do you have saved right now?
Saved. I always save like at least 70% of like what I make.
Wait, what? So what are you eating? Ramen or dirt? What are you living on?
I cut my expenses immensely. You know?
Well, right now you're living for free, right?
Oh no, I still pay rent, but like this is not the rent like this is nothing compared to New York.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. I can imagine.
Yeah.
And there's three of you there, right?
Yeah. So it's like honestly, we pay here like we all pay like $300 each, and that's expenses. And
listen,
rent.
I'm coming to New Hampshire. You guys it'll go down. Your rent's gonna go down.
Exactly.
When I arrive.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know
175. It'll go down
because
I'm sure that math is wrong, but
I think it's
450.
We shouldn't be doing this.
275.
You and I are not qualified.
No. A, not qualified. B, I'm not really moving to New Hampshire because I'd have to bring my husband and the dog. Yeah. So that's fantastic, Ronnie.
Yeah, you know,
I'm gonna have.
It's just like after this whole pandemic thing, I had to learn about a lot of that stuff, you know, and there's stuff they don't teach you. Like, you know, I didn't know anything about budgeting, like budgeting. Like, I didn't know that, like daily budgets. I didn't know that was a thing. Like how much to spend within a day or in a month. You know, I always just thought like, don't spend. You spend
what you have. Isn't that?
That's what I'm saying.
Isn't that the rule?
Yeah, exactly. And like I didn't understand that, you know, the whole like saving thing because no one told me. Yeah. Yeah. My daughter is a really good budgeter. She's spreadsheets and savings and she's amazing. She did not learn that from me. She didn't learn it from me. No. One of my father's sayings was, well, there's no debtor's prison. That was my father's philosophy about money. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jen, let's come up with a letter. And thank you, Anonymous. And that is really good advice. And I am starting now. I'm going to start following it. And I mean it because it's a wake up call. I think in my 60s is when I should start budgeting. So for Jen's story, which is a story of, I don't know, tenacity and, you know, looking for help and not giving up.
Oh, that's a good one. How about like a story of where you caved in? Not cave in is not the right expression, but where you decided to get help and it was worth it. You know?
Yeah. It's an AA expression, I think. Don't give up before the miracle, which I really like, you know, because you might give up today and then tomorrow, you know, you were going to hit on it. So a story of somebody who you didn't give up and you found what you needed. You found what you were looking for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think that's pretty good.
I like that one. Excellent.
Yeah, so please send your letters over to losingitcontact@gmail.com or under this YouTube video or DM us on Instagram. And now we have a TikTok. We have a TikTok now. Yeah.
We have TikTok.
We have a TikTok now. God. So if you're on TikTok. I can't wait
to just...
you're either, a 15-year-old
me,
or, a 6-year-old woman. That's the two audiences of TikTok. Yeah.
So should I be doing stupid dancing on TikTok? Is that what I should be doing?
We would all love to watch. So
I will fire you like that, Ronnie. And then guess what? The podcast would end because I don't know how to do any of this.
But yeah, so we got a TikTok at Losing It Pod, and we have clips and stuff.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Excellent. And also, guys, rate, review, and subscribe. It makes a big difference, okay? All of our reviews are 5 stars, but we'd love a few more. So if you like the podcast, rate and review us and tell your friends. All right?
Yes.
Fabulous. And what else?
I had this thing I wanted to bring up.
All right.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, I remember I texted you this week to tell you that I wanted to bring this up on the podcast.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's just
I got a little nervous.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not. It's not like news. It's more of just like something I've been noticing. So I keep connected to a lot of my friends, and I'm 25. All my peers are the same age, like 25, in their 20s, in their mid 20s. And, we're all going through this pandemic. And I realized that, maybe I talked in the last 2 weeks, I talked to about 12 of my friends individually. Yeah. Right. And I noticed 11 out of 12 of them were basically having a quarter life crisis because of everything that's happening.
Wow.
No one is happy with where they are in life, and they feel like they aren't on the right path, and they also feel like it's too late. They feel like it's too late.
All right.
Yeah. And look, I have a friend that's 26 now, and he just quit his job, and he's depressed about quitting his job, not because he doesn't have a job anymore. It's because he spent all this time at this job and he wanted to do this real thing. He wanted to do music, and he's more upset that he wasn't doing music for the past 3 or 4 years and now has to start from zero. And he's wasting time being more upset about it than actually doing
being
it.
Being filled with regret. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And at the same time, this pandemic is not helping because we're all kind of in a limbo, Yeah. So
I think it's really okay. All right. Well, I'm giggling because when I was 22 and I was in junior college, because I took a couple of years off between high school and college because I hated school, and I was like, I don't have to be in school. I hadn't prepared. I didn't do anything. I barely made it out of high school because child of divorce, 60s and 70s, whatever. Long story. You can read all about it in my memoir if I ever write it. So then I worked for 2.5 years, and then so I went back to junior high, junior college or community college, and I was a dance major, and then I became a theater major, and then I was like, what am I doing here? I'm 22. I'm wasting my time. So I didn't get my degree, and I just went to the neighborhood playhouse. Like I got into an acting school in New York City, and I went, and I'm glad that I went. But I thought at 22 that I was too old. I don't have time to finish college. I had 2.5 years to go. So I would have graduated, 24, maybe 25. But this idea that you don't have time or that you're behind schedule, it's not true. It's just a story that we tell ourselves, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. I totally believe that. And it's just this weird thing though, because this is the advice I would give to them. I'm not saying.
What did you say?
I'm not saying that I'm perfect or anything, but I'm always I'm always thinking about the future. Like, I'm always thinking about the next step. And that's what keeps me going. I rarely get stuck on the past just because to me, it's a waste of time, you know? And, you know, I tell them this way of like, you know, maybe change your perspective a little bit and like just realize that you're making this up, you know? And they understand that. But then again, it still doesn't stop it doesn't stop their perspective. It's still like, yeah, it's true. Yeah. You make a good point, but I'm still in regret about this.
Right. And when you say, yeah, but, almost whenever you say, yeah, whenever one says, yeah, but, then you're not really listening because if, you know, if me included, if I agree with you, then how can I just stop for a second and really take that in versus spending my brain time figuring out how to defend my point of view, you know, especially when you're in a place that's not serving you. Yeah. You know, these guys are in a place that's not serving you. Yeah. It's like, you know, my brother Cardi always says, what if nothing's wrong? Right? What if your friend who feels like he wasted time in this job and quit to do music, what if it's perfect timing? What if this is the perfect time for him to quit?
What if it's the perfect time?
It's only a belief.
Yeah, what if it is the perfect time, but then you're wasting it again because you're worried about your regret, you know?
Right. And most of those things are fear-based, like shoulda, woulda, coulda. Those are all fear-based things. Like, oh, I fucked it up. You know, that's based on fear versus like, you know what? I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Yeah. You know, I mean, and I think, don't you think, how much of it do you think is cultural, Ronnie, and has to do with being millennials and coming into the world at a certain time where there's so much pressure? Do you think that is part of it?
I don't know about cultural. I do believe it's like, I think it's generational thing. Like growing up in a world of social media where, you know, social media is ego driven, and you know the things you see on social media are just to make that person who posted it feel good about themselves and show you that their life is better. And then like it just makes you who, you know, consumes this every day make you feel bad about yourself, and you're just comparing, and that whole comparing aspect is just so unhealthy. But it's become a norm.
It's become a norm. First of all, when you compare, you despair because almost always we're comparing to someone that we perceive is better than us. So you're going to compare, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm not Tina Fey, or I can't believe, you know, I don't look like I did 10 years ago, or I can't believe I don't have her body or that house or that car or that career. So you're going to despair versus, that's one thing. And this is another saying. I didn't make any of these sayings up. I'm just quoting. Don't judge your insides by other people's outsides. Because when you look at somebody from the outside, people don't wear their fear and their anxiety and their self-doubt, you know, on their sleeve. On the outside. So you could be walking down the street and look fabulous, but on your inside going, I can't believe I stayed in that fucking job for 3 years too long. Right? Yeah. So comparing doesn't get you anywhere. And oh shit. Bless you. Oh shit.
I'm allergic to realizations.
I have a friend that I hadn't seen in a really long time, and I kept seeing his posts on Facebook. This was a while ago because this was the days when you saw people only on Facebook. And I kept seeing him, and he was always on vacation, and his career was going great. And I was like, oh my God, you know, and mostly happy, but I gotta say, a little bit jealous, a little envious, because he was at this wonderful vacation, and his daughter had gotten into this great school and all of this stuff, right? So I run into him at like a Chipotle or something. I'm like, oh my God, it's so great to see you. How are you? Turns out that he had cancer, and his wife had attempted suicide.
Oh my gosh.
Since I'd last seen him. And I was like, oh my God, honey, I've been following you on Facebook. I had no idea. He was like, yeah, well, I didn't really post that on Facebook. It's not like a selfie of me and my wife in the hospital after her suicide attempt,
Yeah.
And so we don't know what other people are going through. And certainly social media isn't the place where you determine that.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, my generation, we're so hard-headed. Like, we also think we're smarter than some things. So, like, I was talking to my friend last night, and he was telling me, like, he had a realization, like, just because I know that you shouldn't compare yourself to other people doesn't mean I'm better than that, because I do that. And, like, that self-awareness doesn't make you better if you don't act on it, It's like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you can say, like, you can understand why you're doing a certain thing, but then if you don't change it, then what's the point? You
have to change the behavior. Yeah. Well, I think that one of the things that's really good is all this change that's happening with, like, cognitive behavioral therapy, and that therapists now give you tools. We understand more how the brain works and why it works the way it does. And the brain is a problem solver. So even when there's not a problem, the brain looks for a problem to solve, because, we're hardwired to be solving problems. We're hardwired to be looking for what's wrong, because when we were, cave people, we were like, where's the mastodon? You know what I mean? So we have to work hard to not do that. We have to consciously go, oh, look, I'm finding the problem. Oh, look, I'm comparing. But you also then have to actively replace it with something else. Okay, if I'm not going to compare myself to someone, then you know what? I'll do a gratitude list. I'm so grateful for my earrings. I'm so grateful for this sweater. I'm so grateful for Ronnie. I'm so grateful for my hot halo light. I'm grateful that the days are getting longer. I'm grateful, right? Because if you don't replace that skewed thinking or that habitual thinking with something else, you're just going to go back. You have to and I'm not a life coach or a therapist, but I've had a lot of therapy, and I have a great life coach, and I have a lot of really smart friends, So, and I meditate and all that stuff, but all of that is work.
Yeah.
It's work.
Yeah. It's not easy.
No.
And it shouldn't be.
No.
No. But, you should do it.
And, my life coach, she says it all comes back to self-love and self-acceptance. Yeah. It all comes back to self-love and self-acceptance. Because
self-acceptance. Like, don't lie to yourself, You can't live a lie, your whole life, because that'll eat you up inside.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I know people who are lying to themselves to this day. And I just feel sorry for them. And, I know that they're creating
lying to themselves about what? About who
they are and what they want to do.
Yeah.
And how they feel about themselves and where they are. And it's just like, people can see that. People see that.
Yeah.
People can see right through that. And it's only hurting you,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's a lot of weight.
Listen, guys, all you millennials. What if you're right where you're supposed to be? Oh, listen, everybody. What if we could love ourselves exactly as we are right now? Not, I'll love myself when I have this, or even just forget love. What about just accept ourselves?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What if we could accept ourselves now, not like when I have that job, when I make that CD, when I whatever, fill in the blanks, when I have 50,000 followers, whatever the thing is that you think is going to make you okay, it's bullshit anyway, because it's all an inside job.
Yeah. Like, what do you think? You think when you get to that place that you've been dreaming of, that there's no problems? It's just
think of how many
100%.
Really rich and really famous people have killed themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's an inside job. It's the fix comes from here. Money can't fix you. A job can't fix you. Followers can't fix you.
Yeah.
All right. We figured it out.
You know how I told you, like, 11 out of 12 of my friends are going through?
Yeah.
I have one friend, and he's doing great. And I talk to him all the time. He's actually the friend that got married, that I was groomsman at. and he's doing amazingly. He has 2 kids now. He's 25. He just bought a house.
Wow.
He just had a kid, and he's making a lot of money. And his perspective, his perspective was always none of that other stuff. Comparing to him wasn't even in the cards. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like he was just so focused on my next thing and having love around me. Look where he's at.
Wow, that is so.
And
great.
he had a lot of setbacks and stuff, but his setbacks were like energized him because he's like, oh, I got a step closer because I know not to do that, or I learned so much. Now he's energized to keep going. It's a great outlook.
That's so great. That's so great. Good for him. Well, that just makes me think of like a really big perspective shift I had recently, probably in the last 2 or 3, maybe in the last year, was about, instead of looking for what I can get, what can I give? How am I going to get a client? How am I going to get a client? How am I going to get more listeners? How am I going to get the money I want? How am I going to get a deal for my whatever? I started going, well, what do I have? How can I give? What can I give? What can I give away? Getting excited about the gifts I have and how I can share them. And changed everything. I literally changed everything. I mean, I'm still a white lady in her 60s, but it changed my feeling about myself. My feeling is about myself in the world, and changed my income. And that wasn't necessarily the goal, because I stopped being like this and I started being like that. Changed. Yeah. And that's a sophisticated. I don't know if it's a sophisticated concept. It's not, but it took me a long time to get there. So, yeah.
I know this is kind of running long, but it's a rich concept, and like, and what you were just saying there, like it just brings me back to like my generation, and just how like a lot of people in my generation, they don't do that. They don't give and give and give. They're more selective, and I don't like that at all. I mean, I'm not like that at all. Like my whole thing is like give, and then expect just a little bit back, and that little bit back is going to help you,
Yeah.
Because if you give enough, people will appreciate you, and they'll want to protect you, and they want to, there's love in the connection there. So, that's always been my thing. But like, I have like people that I know that are like, oh, I'm too good to be a part of that, so I'm not going to even think about it. And it's like, well, who are you? You're like 25. Like, no one knows who you are. Who are you to think that?
Yeah, and let me tell you, I had that attitude when I was younger. Especially when I first came to New York, I'm like, I'm not going to be in that. I'm not going to be in some student film, and I'm not going to. Let me tell you, student filmmakers turn into real filmmakers, and they remember you if you're in there.
Yeah, it's a networking possibility.
Exactly. And who did I think I was? I was a waitress. I was an unemployed actor / waitress, So say yes, be giving, be loving, trust the process, know that it's an abundant universe and that you're limitless, but you have to come at it from, love and compassion, not sort of, the minute you're in that sort of angry resentment place, it doesn't get you anywhere.
No.
Yeah. All right. We've got it figured out, Ronnie. You and me, baby.
Yeah. Well,
should we tease something, our new little thing that might be coming in the very near future? Our new endeavor? I feel like this segues into it, or should we wait?
It's going to be a couple of weeks till it comes out, but I think we could talk about it.
Yeah, we're really excited. We're going to be doing a little addendum to Losing It. We're going to call it Therapy Thursday. And every Thursday, we're going to have questions with our resident therapist, Heidi Haddad. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
You want to add to that in any way? Come on, Ronnie. Get in the game.
So that's going to be about a half hour, sort of mini episode on Thursdays, where we'll have Heidi come in, and she's going to give her expertise as a, what is she exactly? I don't want to screw up her
she's
title.
a licensed clinical social worker. She has a practice in Manhattan, and but I think she's virtual now. And Head Heart Therapy is the name of her practice. She was on the podcast pre Ronnie, so before we had a YouTube channel, so you can find her episode. And she doesn't really talk about being a therapist, but she's just recently got a Twitter following, and she got a lot of responses because people are losing it. We've been inside now for over a year, it's about to be a year, and people are losing it. And so she got a lot of responses, and so we were like, let's just do it. Let's see how we can.
And she's hilarious.
Be of service. Oh my God,
she's also hilarious.
So funny.
Yeah, she's
so
great.
funny. Yeah. So that's going to be coming on a Thursday in the near future.
Yeah, a couple of weeks.
Couple weeks.
Look forward to that.
Yeah. So are we done?
Yeah.
I'm just asking. Yeah. You said it went long. We have been talking for, what is it, 5.5 hours now?
I mean, yeah. We can.
This is the intro, outro. Okay.
Yeah. I know.
This is a two-parter. While Ronnie and I explain the world to you. We explain the world to you. How to cure your anger and resentment and regrets in one easy podcast. So no, I think we're done.
Yeah, I think we
done?
said what we said this week. Yeah.
We said what we had to say, and I think the only thing left to say is don't poop in the ocean. Have a good week, everybody. Bye. Say bye, Ronnie.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it. You came and you listened to the story. I hope so much that it didn't make you sorry, and I hope so much that you'll come back again.
Losing It, hosted by Nelsie Spencer. Produced by me, Ronnie Whaley. Theme song by Hunter Williams. Follow us online on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and all podcasting platforms at Losing It Podcast. Viewers can email Nelsie with questions or comments about life, writing, comedy, or even your own Losing It story for a chance to be on the Losing It Podcast at losingitcontact@gmail.com. For everything Nelsie and everything Losing It, visit us at nelsiespencer.com.